Have you ever gone to a vintage shop and bought a pair of shoes? Did you know that those shoes may have been produced in St. Louis? St. Louis has had a shoemaking industry since the 19th century. It began in the mid-1800s, mostly as wholesale. So that means they were bringing in shoes made from somewhere else and shipping them off to different locations using the Mississippi River and other river systems, or also using the train system. During the last part of the 19th century, some of those companies started moving from wholesale into manufacturing. In 1899, St. Louis was producing about 8 million pairs of shoes, and by 1909, just 10 years later, they tripled that to over 24 million pairs of shoes coming out of this city. That included 50 factories with over 50,000 employees. St. Louis was one of the largest producers of shoes, particularly in the early 20th century. They did claim to be the largest producer in the world, at least as of 1910. All parts of the industry, so it wasn't just designing the shoe or taking all of the parts and putting them together. It was actually the leather manufacturing. It was producing the shoe lasts, and the lasts are basically wooden or steel molds that the shoes are formed around. While St. Louis was producing a lot of these shoes, rarely did those shoes ever have St. Louis stamped on the shoe anywhere. So it didn't say made in St. Louis. It might have said made in USA. So how do you know they were made in St. Louis? What I have to do is look through online databases like newspapers.com or through trademark databases and look for brand names. So a lot of times on these shoes, you might see something like Buster Brown. But you have to know that Buster Brown was a shoe made by the Brown Shoe Company of St. Louis. In the 1970s, shoe manufacturing really started moving overseas like a lot of other industries because it was cheaper to produce the shoes in foreign countries. And unfortunately, a lot of manufacturing here in the United States across industries just started to dwindle. So when those industries started moving overseas, that was a lot of workers that were no longer needed here in St. Louis.
To learn more about the Missouri Historical Society, visit mohistory.org.